this is going to be a more serious video because I am genuinely pissed off and disgusted by this entire trend on TikTok going around right now. I'm not going to be cracking as many jokes. It's going to be a lot of me just being pissed off about this situation because I genuinely am. This is genuinely disgusting and angering for me. So, little warning, I'm going to be a little bit more serious in this video and a little bit less jokative like I normally am. So recently, as you probably already know, there was a man who pulled up to a bikini cafe drive-thru where all the workers are wearing bikinis. And he had his pants down and was gooning, as his generation calls it. So literally sexually harassing the workers. He had his pants down and he was gooning to female workers who did not consent to that in any way, shape, or form. Luckily, one of the employees came outside to the man who was in the drive-thru and she was recording on her phone when she came up to him. And that's where we have the infamous clip of the man in the car with his pants down gooning. Horrible situation. Obviously, the workers should not have had to deal with that. Minimum wage workers should not have to deal with creepy man gooning. I don't care what they were wearing. It doesn't matter if you're wearing bikinis or whatever. That is not consent for any grown man to come into the drive-thru with their pants down and start fucking gooning their meat stick. That's not how that shit works. Contrary to popular belief, apparently, because there was way too many people who are defending this guy. And as the man realized he was being recorded and drove off in his car, he would drive into a parking lot far away from where they were filming, and he would take his own life in what the internet is now calling the goonicide. And it was all fun and games and making fun of the guy until it came out that he had like a wife and a family, because who would have guessed, even if he's a fucking weirdo, he has a life as well. Which ended up spawning a movement of people actually defending the guy and his actions. People like going out in public with like signs and stuff, talking about, oh, you know, I can't goon, and they're raising their fists, obviously mimicking the George Floyd BLM protests, which is obviously fucked up. This is not the same situation as George Floyd, even remotely. Obviously, I know the majority of these people are joking. You know, 99% of these people are obviously joking. They understand what he did is bad. But I'm not convinced everyone is joking. I have seen several posts of people who are seriously defending this guy in comment sections. 99% of the comments, you know, 99% of the people who are even out at like the public events, they held a public funeral in a drive-thru. Maybe the one that he was at, or maybe he was outside the cafe. I don't know exactly. But all I know is there was like a public like funeral held for him unofficially, obviously. And I'm sure a good amount of those people were joking as well. But there's enough people who are seriously defending this guy and acting like the situation is like the most fucked up thing ever. And I just don't get that. Dozens of people in comment sections, in the actual funerals, actually holding up signs and protesting in like Wendy's and In-N-Outs and shit, which being a public nuisance is never acceptable, in my opinion. I really don't respect people who just go out in public, who just, you know, like you're literally out in public holding up a sign yelling, I can't goon. You are yelling about masturbating in a restaurant full of, presumably there are probably kids in that restaurant, many adults who don't want to hear about that shit right now. You're disturbing, and the minimum wage workers who are working their ass off have to deal with you, and you're making their lives harder. No one wins in this situation. All you get is a couple likes on TikTok. Like, what do you gain from being a fucking public nuisance and making everyone's days worse? And it's not even like funny. It doesn't even make people laugh necessarily. In the comments, no one's like, oh, this made me laugh so hard. This shit is so funny. No, they're like, ain't no way, bro, actually went to public and did this. Doing this on a public server is crazy. All the likes and attention you get is just because you're doing something crazy in public. It's not because what you're doing is actually funny or getting laughter. So no one really benefits here. You just make yourself look worse. Like, what do you gain from being a fucking menace in public? People are seriously making videos defending him. And now, worst of fucking everything, there is now people who are going out into drive-thrus with no pants on just to sexually harass the workers. What the fuck? To my knowledge, there have been 5 separate instances on TikTok where people have gone into various drive-thrus without their pants on just to sexually harass the workers, basically. Not only are you sexually harassing the underpaid workers, but that's also public nudity, indecent exposure, and I believe also disturbing the peace. So not only are you committing actual crimes on camera, but you are posting them and basically just putting out like, hey, guess what? I'm doing crimes and I'm sexually harassing workers. I'm an asshole. All for this trend of defending this sexual harasser. And obviously TikTok has been cracking down on this and stopping people from posting videos like this. That also means there could be more than 5. There could be 10, 15, 20, 30, possibly even hundreds of people who are doing this, posting it to TikTok, and the video gets taken down before it can really get any exposure, because obviously it goes against TikTok guidelines. This is an actual movement of sexually harassing underpaid workers, in specific women, all for the defense of a guy who sexually harassed women in a drive-thru. He's not some saint who did nothing wrong. And it's not a joke. It's not a joke in the least. You are literally just going on to public and sexually harassing overworked, underpaid retail employees who have done nothing to deserve this. And there's one in particular I saw, and I have a recording saved of it, that is absolutely fucking disgusting, where a guy pulls up without his pants on to the same area where those women experienced the guy with his pants down originally. And he sticks a sign out the window. It's like a poster with the guy's face on it. And it's like, goon aside, I can't goon, like a protest page. He sticks it out the window to the employees and he starts yelling at the employees. He is wearing no pants, sticking a sign in several employees' face and screaming out of his car, I can't goon, you killed him, you killed him, you killed him, I can't goon.
Hi there, how's it going?
Good. Do you have a water cup?
Good, then.
I can't get a water cup.
We don't allow filming. Were you here last night?
No, what's that?
Yeah. Go ahead and turn off.
I can't goon! I can't goon! You killed that man! You killed that man! You killed that man!
So what are we doing now? We're now blaming the workers for filming a guy who is sexually harassing them? The worker who came out there and had the confidence to go out there and confront the guy and film him, that way the other workers wouldn't have to deal with him, she should be hailed as a fucking hero for that. At very least, she should be respected among the employees there. And she probably does feel incredibly guilty in her head for that guy going and taking himself out in another drive-thru. I guarantee that woman does feel very bad that her actions ended up causing that. You have absolutely no right to pull up to that drive-thru, not only sexually harassing the workers with no pants on, but to yell at them and blame the victims of this scenario for a guy sexually harassing them. This is not a joke. This is not a meme. This is real life. You are sexually harassing real women. You are yelling and victim blaming real women. For what reason? To defend a guy who sexually harassed women as well? I guess it takes one to know one, man. Yes, he had a wife and family. Yes, the situation was fucked up. It's not the worker's fault. The guy was clearly in a terrible mental state to begin with. That worker did the bare minimum to simply record him and his actions for evidence and go outside and tell him to leave. That is perfectly reasonable in that scenario. Sitting at home and raising your arm and saying, I can't goon, while I don't think it's funny and I think it's actually fucked up and wrong, I can understand the meme, okay? I understand doing that as a meme. But sexually harassing real workers is going way beyond a meme. Again, unfortunate situation, but he made the decision in his head. He decided with a wife and kids that he would go out and try and goon in a drive-thru and sexually harass the women in the drive-thru. All right. He made that decision. All right. He is a sexual harasser. He is a fucked up in the head person. All right. That's the fact of the matter. Why people are defending him for this? Obviously, the man shouldn't have died. No one's arguing with that. But he had a fucked up mental space. You can't blame the worker for going out and recording him so she had evidence for police. You can't blame the worker for that. You're acting like, oh, it's the worker's fault. It is the fault relies and the responsibility of this completely lies in the man that did that. So yeah, I don't know. This is fucked up. I don't know why we're making this a trend of defending this guy. It's really disturbing and disgusting and gross. And yeah, I'm IT Man. Peace out. Just kidding. At the end of the video, I got more to say, actually. Like, for like 30 seconds, just want to bring up, no one is taking this seriously either. I have not seen a single person come out and say this trend is fucked up or weird. Not a single person on TikTok I've seen come out in the comments of the people who are actually in the drive-thrus with their pants down and sexually harassing workers, or people who are making the edits and defending the guy, people who are genuinely in the comments defending him. Like, not a single person is calling this out for the sexual harassment and how actually fucking weird it is. So, yeah, I just wanted to add that in there because no one's calling this out or bringing it up, and it's such a weird. It's so weird. Yeah.